Welcome to the Filmsteins, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmsteins. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmsteins, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And welcome back to another glorious episode of the Filmsteins, the fastest growing podcast in the universe.
The universe?
Yep, we're outperforming what's the satellite or little thing that's going out there past Pluto about 6 years ago now? Voyager 1, is that what it was?
I don't know.
That was our first camera that went by Pluto that was able to send pictures back. And so that was our first time seeing it, in quotes, kind of up close. And I'm joined today by our very own Spider-Man of our universe, Lucy the Spider-Man woman.
The Spider-Man woman? The Spider-Woman? Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
And today we have a super special episode. We don't cover animated movies very often, do we?
I mean, we've covered a few, right?
The only one that comes to mind is Mario.
And
Did we do more than that?
We did Puss in Boots.
We didn't cover Puss in Boots.
We didn't cover Puss in Boots? Oh.
That was last year, dude.
Oh. Why am I thinking that? I think because you put it in the title to one episode.
Yeah, I said, is Mario better than Puss in Boots?
Yeah.
That's my clickbaity title.
All right. Never mind. You're right.
Today we are covering Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, featuring Miles Morales and several other Spider-Mans. We're covering this today because, one, you need to be prepared for the next brand new Miles Morales Spider-Man. Across the universe. Across the Spider-Verse, whatever. And then I think the one after that's called Beyond.
Yep, you're right.
That's funny. Into, across, beyond. Yeah.
Clever.
But we're also covering this today because it's one of my dear friend's favorite movies, and he recently passed away. So we're going to do this in his name. This was, in 2018, this kind of became a seminal moment in animation history. For about 15 years, we saw Pixar just dominate, and Disney 3D animation. We saw them just dominate a lot of the animated scene, and not only just money, but also in awards and whatnot and stuff. But so in 2018, this Spider-Man movie shows up and just completely revolutionizes what animated movies can look like. And I don't know if you saw it when it first came out. Did you see it?
No, I saw it maybe a year after it came out, so in 2019. But you've always said how important it is. Who you watch a movie with matters. So yep. I think I didn't watch it with the correct people.
Yeah, sure.
And I think I did fall asleep like 5 minutes in. I was like, man, this is a kiddie cartoon movie, and then just fell asleep. So I definitely judged the crap out of it in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, I understand on some level. I cannot just put on animated stuff at whenever, I kind of need to be in the mood for it. There's some things I don't need to be in the mood for, but animated, most things I kind of need to be in the mood for, actually. But, so animated is definitely one of those. But I definitely have a deep appreciation and just love, I guess, for animated things because I like cartoons. I like cartoon animation a lot.
Yeah.
I like early 90s cartoons or the animation of them, and then what would kind of develop into the heyday of Cartoon Network with Courage and Powerpuff Girls and Dexter and Ed, Edd n Eddy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I just have kind of a soft spot for animation in general, just because I think it's really cool when it's given the attention that it generally deserves. I think there's room, I think, obviously, for your Despicable Me's and your generic Pixar films, but I think it's really cool when you have things like this pop up, which before this, I can't really think of any that aren't like stop motion or just smaller projects, I guess. But after this, I feel like we've started to get a whole slew of things with Mitchell and the Machines, and obviously the new Spider-Man and Puss in Boots and the Pinocchio, and then Guillermo del Toro's comments on bringing animation to adults and like adult themes, not X-rated animation. But it's kind of funny. I feel like he needed to distinguish between the two. When you say adult animation, it almost implies either X-rated animation or fucking Family Guy. You know what I mean? But like, thematically kind of resonating just things caught in animation, whether that's stop motion or traditional animating. And I can't wait for that. And I think Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse is gonna be looked back. I don't know if it already is. I just kind of feel that way, and I would like to hear from like someone who's like deeply connected to the animated world. But I feel like this is gonna be a thing that they look back in 25 years, and because as long as I guess we see this swing, that I just feel like this is gonna happen. I feel like animation is going to be the next Marvel for the next 10 years. I think we're just gonna see a big boom in it, and I think they're gonna look back at this kind of like, Iron Man 1 maybe is an obvious. I guess you should probably actually go back further to like the Tim Burton Batmans. They kind of started that, and then those first 3 Spider-Mans, and then Marvel kind of was able to run after that, after those movies started to walk. So I think we're going to see a similar thing here, and I don't think it's the most interesting story. I know you said that right before we started recording. It's nothing special story-wise, but visually it's like crack, isn't it?
Yes. My gosh.
So tell me a little bit about what you think about this movie. A little bit, just anything. High-level thoughts.
Well, I want to go back to what you said about this being kind of, I don't know how you phrased it.
Seminal.
Yes. To future animation, I guess. And I think one of the movies that I can most see it with is Puss in Boots. I think that that was a movie that was also very beautifully animated. And before that, I think there's only very few movies that I've noticed the animation being
stylized.
Yeah. And this is one that now I can add to that list, because I didn't really pay attention to that kind of stuff when I was younger. I didn't pay attention to animated to the animation. I just paid attention to, did it make me laugh? Did I like the characters? Did I like the story?
Ren and Stimpy didn't just floor you every time you saw it when you were little?
But I don't know. I didn't know why. I thought it was just the stupidness of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Or, I guess I couldn't pinpoint what it was. But there's, a few movies that I can pinpoint that the animation was what really caught my eye. Yeah. Along with other parts of it. One of them is Frozen. I think Frozen was one of the bigger movies for me, animation wise. That was just beautiful. It was crazy how beautiful that movie was.
That was the big climax for Disney, in fact, was with their that was the ceiling they hit with 3D animation, and that's like seen in Pixar and later like Frozen 2 and Baymax or whatever, Big Hero 6.
Yep.
You see that here and there with that kind of stuff, but like they like reached that level of like texture and detail, like to bring up, especially like in our Pixar ranking. I brought that up quite a bit. When they reached that, they just didn't know where to go, I guess, with animation. And so, because they, even through the Disney 3D animated movies and the Pixar movies, there's this kind of a similar bubbly kind of style to a lot of it. And it feels very safe as far as just style goes. As far as like texture goes, they were the pioneers of what textured 3D animation looks like. And,
Yeah.
and Frozen's kind of the milestone marker for that, especially with the castle. The castle, I think, supposedly took something like, it took like 6 months of man hours to animate that castle
Holy crap.
with like 200 animators on it. But hours wise, so 6 months, half a year to animate that all to all of them working together.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you can see some of those elements that Frozen initiated in Moana. I don't know if Moana was the next movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there probably is a next movie, but Moana's equally as beautiful.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like the steps after Frozen are so almost hardly even steps. They've honed in on their beauty and they're not ready to explore outside of what they've mastered really. And you can't take that away from them at all, because Moana, Frozen 2, Big Hero 6, Encanto, these are extremely beautiful movies. Somehow even more beautiful than Pixar movies, when Pixar kind of had that all to themselves for like 10 years, 15 years almost. And I feel like I don't know if it's the same studios or not, and they just share the fucking name Pixar and Disney 3D animation or whatever. But the Disney side of that is definitely starting to outpace the Pixar, because Encanto, way more beautiful, way more interesting looking than fucking Lightyear. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
What is even happening? I don't know.
Yes. And another movie, which I'm really curious what you'll have to say about me saying this, The Polar Express. Bad or good, it was definitely different.
Well, I think it was sort of amazing at the time. It's one of those, it's kind of like Mario 64, where this early 3D animation, like trying to take this early, it also kind of reminds me of Dinosaurs, the movies. Where we have this really early 3D animation that at the time looks really cool, kind of like Shrek as well. And at the time, it looks very cool. You cannot, don't misunderstand at all. At the time, it's fucking cool, especially the hair and like the facial animations and stuff and the motion capture and everything. But as time went on, we saw what that looks like when it's done better. So that stuff just, because it's so stuck in like a realistic kind of animation, it kind of starts to feel like, maybe uncanny. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it starts to feel really off and disturbing. Polar Express is fucking disturbing to watch, I think.
I still love it. I still think it looks really cool. Maybe it's just my childhood thinking about it. I love watching it every Christmas.
I mean, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else like Polar Express.
Not.
I can't fault you for that at all, because it's an interesting film. It's a very important film to animation history. Absolutely. I think that might have been a Sony movie too. Was it?
I don't know. I think you might be right.
It looks like it was a Warner Brothers movie, which is even more interesting because their claim to fame in animation lives in the cartoon world, the 2D world, because they are responsible for Cartoon Network and Hanna-Barbera and stuff. Or I guess later they would buy Hanna-Barbera and deliver on Cartoon Network. Yeah, no, I know you like that movie.
And every Christmas, you always talk about how creepy it is.
It's not a pretty movie. Yeah. It's pretty in a sense that it's just different and weird. It reminds me of certain it reminds me of certain video games with the motion capture where it's just not right. I guess it is an uncanny thing. It's just not quite there, but it's special. It still is special, and Dinosaurs doesn't have any realistic animation because it's fucking about dinosaurs. We don't know how dinosaurs moved.
Yeah.
And we couldn't mocap any dinosaurs. And it takes place it's like animated over actual like landscapes, like real landscapes. They supersede animation over like, fucking Nat Geo sweeping things that are and so it's like kind of weird in that way too, and I think that's even early. I think that's like 2000, 2001. Polar Express is 2004.
Yeah, and that's also one of my favorite movies, Dinosaurs. Yeah, but with Polar Express, eliminating the, characters, the humans, the train looks awesome. The
Yeah.
ticket, I mean, the ticket looks so cool. And especially when he's hole punching the ticket.
Yeah.
That's so cool. The whole like Santa sleigh, the ending. I mean, it's definitely really cool.
Yeah. I think you'll probably never hear me say this again, but Polar Express may be today a little underappreciated.
I think it is.
I know at the time it was kind of, the Home Alone of its time, where it was on all the time. People, loved it and everything, but I feel like it's been kind of forgotten to history.
Yeah, we went on. I think my first time seeing it was a school field trip. When it came out, and then I think the next year it was playing somewhere else. It wasn't playing at the movie theater, but it was playing like at the Pink Palace or one of those museum type places. And we went on another school trip to see that. So it was a movie that schools took you to go see all the time, kind of like Nemo. I guess they play that a lot in schools too.
Around the same time.
But this movie is definitely there in pioneering some of this animation.
Yeah, you can see I feel like it's a really cool evolution, and I don't think you often see it as so much of an homage so quickly like you do from Puss in Boots from this to Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
Because Puss in Boots takes this like animating on twos kind of thing, where it kind of looks skippy. It looks like it's almost lagging on some level.
Mm-hmm.
But and not, if it's not a video game, it's fine. Some PR person for video games where the game runs on 30 frames, they should try to say that it's animated on twos, where it's intentional. The 60 frame thing is overrated, just saying. But I saw this movie late as well. I saw this movie probably in 2019.
Okay.
Maybe a few months after it came out. I think it came out in December or something, late 2018, I think. And it blew me away, because I think this is the first time I'd ever been really impressed by 3D animation. Although this tries its hardest to live in a 2D realm, kind of tries to live in a kind of comic book setting. It's very much 3D, and 3D just tends to be not as explored stylistically, and also just not taken as serious on an artistic level. I feel like because there's just less variety. I feel like there's kind of a way, because if you look at your DreamWorks, your Madagascar, your Ice Age, or your Pixar's and your Frozen and Tangles and stuff, there's kind of a through line is just like a bubbliness. There's kind of a softness to everything. There's just not a lot of things that kind of differentiate them from each other. Because think about the Minions, and think about Big Hero 6. It's animation and art style.
Yeah.
Especially the art style. Animation is kind of, I feel like there's probably not a lot. There's not as many ways to animate uniquely as there is art style. You can only really animate on 1, 2s, 3s, and maybe 4s. And then on top of that, you can only animate, like, you're kind of at the mercy of what your art style is telling you at that point. If your art style's something like Dexter's Lab, you'll have a weird kind of way of animating things, because Dee Dee's arms and legs are fucking weirdly long, right? So she's gonna move kind of weird.
Proportional, yeah.
And then his mom has like weirdly pointy legs, and so she like moves kind of weird, right? And then Dexter's 2 inches tall, and so he moves weird. So there's like that kind of, you're at the mercy. A lot of times the animation is at the mercy of the art style. So I guess what I'm saying is you just kind of, I want to say gentrified, but that's not the fucking problem here. There's no gentrification with art styles. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But there is just kind of like common understanding amongst all these studios, I guess. Maybe they're all fucking animated at the same place and they're just being licensed out. I don't even know. Maybe there's some kind of monopoly over animation.
Maybe.
I don't even know. But they all kind of just have a softness that just looks the same, kind of like anime. Animes doesn't have a softness, but it all looks the fucking same.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down an anime route right now.
No, yeah, I agree with you there. I guess I can kind of prove it to myself by, can I picture the minions living in the
Yeah.
Big Hero 6 world? Yes, I can. Can I picture all of them hanging out with Rapunzel? Yeah, I can. They look like they belong in that world.
Yeah, and that's actually funny that you say that because I kind of run that same filter in my head, but through. Remember that when Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner they crossed over?
Yep.
What would happen? Yeah, if you took the other art style and put it in the other universe, what would happen to that character? You know, we see that with Jimmy and Timmy. They changed quite a bit. Right. Obviously, it's going from shitty ass 3D to 2D. You know, man, Jimmy Neutron animation is something special too.
Oh, I hated that show, man. I hated Jimmy Neutron.
I'm surprised.
You like Jimmy Neutron?
It's fine. I liked it as much as Fairly Odd Parents.
No, I love Fairly Odd Parents. I was gonna watch Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah,
if Jimmy Neutron was on, I was gonna find something else to watch.
Yeah, I'd probably leave Fairly Odd Parents on. I probably liked it more because I liked his dad, Jimmy's dad. I liked Cosmo and Wanda, of course. Mm-hmm. I liked Vicky a lot. I didn't like Vicky's little sister, Trixie or something.
Yeah, Trixie.
Not Trixie. Trixie's the girl that Timmy likes.
Tootie. Tootie, yeah.
I didn't like her. I didn't like Trixie either. I didn't like Chester and AJ, I think the other guy was. I didn't like Strangleman, whatever the fucking big ass fairy's name. You know, some things I didn't like about it, but I liked. There were some things that I can't really think about anything I liked about Jimmy Neutron other than Jimmy's dad and Jimmy's mom, and Carl's love for Jimmy's mom. I liked that.
Yeah,
that was about all I liked. That was all about all I liked, but
yeah, that's a great example. You can see when they go into each other's animation, and it's very drastic. But animate Baymax like, Olaf, and you get the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. And the only way you'll see a difference is if you go into the 2D world. Back with your Aladdin and Snow White and Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess you could even say that a lot of those were kind of animated similarly, but man, there's just something so stylistically pleasing about 2D animation that I feel like that's easier to milk, at least for me, to milk, for me to be pleased. Because there's nothing like hand-drawn animation. There's just nothing else like it. And that's just how it is. That's why I wish these 3D live makes. I wish these Disney live action remakes would take some kind of stylistic liberties and not just recreate the thing. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool that Will Smith was replacing Robin Williams. He was dead, so he couldn't really do it, but I thought that was kind of a nice touch because it kind of shows a boldness, because Robin Williams' Genie is arguably one of the most, if not the most iconic character to all of Disney animation, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So I liked that, but they didn't go that extra mile. I don't know what that would have had to be because I'm just not in tune enough to know what Aladdin could be. But or Lion King or whatever, or the new Little Mermaid. I hate that they're playing it so safe, because those are movies. A lot of these movies, not all of them, but like the Jungle Book and the Lion King, they are just the new 3D animation. Mm-hmm. They're not live action. I don't even know why they call them that. I asked my mom today. I told her that we watched this film, and then she said the cartoon one, and I was like the 3D animated one. And I was like, is that a cartoon to you? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, is like Marvel a cartoon to you? Because like most of that's fake too. Everything's fake except their face, basically.
That's funny.
Because it's basically the same thing. If not that, if you don't want to, if you want to just don't touch your lovely Marvel, at least the Lion King is 100% just 3D animation again. There's no humans in it at all, and there might be some kind of photo realistic stuff that's actually like created, that's some kind of skins created and laid over some stuff, so it's like indistinguishable from the real life thing, but it's still computer generated, so it's But she
Right?
didn't want to say anything to me. I can't remember. I don't know what the fuck she said. She said something that made me laugh.
Right? The Lion King is a cartoon.
The live action remake is a cartoon.
Yeah, you heard it here.
Cause then I asked her if like Nightmare Before Christmas was a cartoon. I was like, cause that's real. You know, it's all stop motion. It's all claymation in that particular one. And so like, is it a cartoon?
That's hilarious.
There's nothing traditionally animated about it at all, but it still gets thrown under the animated category, as we saw with the Oscars. This year's Oscars with
Pinocchio.
yeah, with Pinocchio, and it won. So I'm like, I wouldn't call that animation, to be honest, but I mean, where else are you gonna put it where it gets its fair dues too? I don't know.
Is it time for those to get?
Well, it should be animated and stop motion. That's what it should say.
Yeah.
But I think it just says best animated film.
Huh, that's an interesting thing, because I would definitely say Nightmare Before Christmas is a cartoon. Just without thinking about any about how it was made, or without thinking of any of that. Just looking at it, I would say it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it does. I can't blame you, really. But it brings in the question about like traditional hand-drawn animation and digital animation too, though, because I'd say hand-drawn animation is a little bit more akin to stop motion anyways, because you're creating each frame, and a lot of times those are pieces of, like, you've got the body part of the character, and then the head's a different piece, and then you overlay them, and then you snap the shot, and then you get a bunch of those, and that's how you make the animated film. That's kind of like a 2D stop motion approach, right? And so, and then you have, of course, I don't know if you know that, but how the backgrounds were made. They were made on on a carousel.
Yeah, what did we watch where I saw that?
Yeah, and then
Fantasia?
that's why they repeated. Oh, maybe. That's why they repeated the way they did, because they were literally repeating themselves going through the carousel. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
But that was just a funny thing that I was trying to get out of her. But so when I saw this new Spider-Man movie, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe how this film just like kind of just came out. It just came to be. Like there was no like build up to this. I think the most seminal Sony produced animated film up until this point was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which was an important film to film history too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like, I don't know, 2007 or 8 maybe?
9? Yeah, 2009.
So Sony's kind of arguably been out of the race for animation for a little while, being displaced by pretty much in its entirety Pixar. I think almost everyone up until the Illumination started to come in with Despicable Me, Pixar had kind of been king, and then even after that, Pixar continued to kind of be king, and 3D animation, of course. And when I say Pixar, I mean both. But this movie it's almost hard to watch. It's almost hard to know what's going on at times, because it's so... No, it's not really hard to know what's going on, but there's just like so much... It's almost psychedelic in how kind of things are coming in and out of the screen, and especially towards the end when the Hadron Collider is, or whatever the fuck it is doing its thing at the end there, where he has to do his final, where Miles has to do his boss battle. It's just nuts. I don't really know what to say about it, to be honest. I'm still... Yeah,
it's a bit hard to keep up with when you're trying to kind of have this comic style with 3D-ish, and then you have words on the screen too, like you do in comic books, and then you have this element of like different dimensions, so you're kind of bringing that into it too. You know, you have your other Spider-Mans that are from other worlds, even though the style is still kind of the same. You know, you have your, pig, Porter Pig, whatever his name is.
Porter Pig!
What's his name? Peter Porter?
I don't know.
Hold on. Peter Porker.
Peter Porker.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of obvious. Porker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter. We should have known that.
And then he's got, his style of cartoon, and it's a lot. It's a lot going on here. And not to mention, Miles is into street art, so now you have to have this kind of artistic element.
Yeah, it's a good compliment
Yeah.
to just the wild style we've already got going.
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive, but it is a lot. I agree.
Did you know Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, and the creator of Atlanta, Donald Glover?
Mm-hmm.
He inspired Miles Morales. He inspired the creation of the character.
I didn't know that. I can see it.
I can totally see it.
Yeah.
I can totally see it. He was going to be, because they were thinking about, before the Andrew Garfield film came out, Sony was thinking about, and kind of talks with Donald Glover to be Miles Morales. Or to be a Black Spider-Man, I should say.
Okay.
And that never went anywhere. But they liked, I guess, the energy and kind of style he brought to the character, where they just invented the new character, which is cool because it would have worked either way, because we have this whole multiverse thing with Spider-Man. So Miles' existence in any of the universes is kind of irrelevant, because he would have just existed in a different universe, because it's just the way the multiverse will work anyways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny in that way, but I like that they just totally embraced him, and he's become bigger than Spider-Man or Peter Parker. I like him much more than Peter Parker. And now he's already got a game. He didn't have to work very hard, He's already got a game. He's about to be co-captain in the next Spider-Man game too. So with Peter Parker, and I assume Peter's definitely going to die in the next game, that's my prediction. But they even I think it was in the Andrew Garfield movie where they referenced Donald Glover's potential future, and not reference, I should say. In the Andrew Garfield movie, they Easter egged what could have been with Donald Glover, like getting out of bed with a Spider-Man outfit on the TV in the background.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's what the Andrew Garfield movie.
The Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. Is that him?
It might have been. You know what? It actually might have been this movie. I can't remember.
Huh.
But it was a Spider-Man movie. I don't want to go fishing for it right now. And then also Donald Glover plays Aaron, Miles' uncle, in the game. I think.
Okay.
And he plays one of them. I can't remember. I read so much. There's so many different fucking players and characters and all the Marvel shit. But yeah, so there's some deep connection with Donald Glover and Spider-Man, which is kind of interesting. And he went on to inspire one of the more interesting characters, kind of like, I don't know, I guess Guardians of the Galaxy kind of share that with Miles, because I don't know, it's not just me, right, that we're kind of worn out by traditional superheroes. We want some new superheroes, because like Guardians were kind of fresh when they came out.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know.
Do we even still want superheroes? Can we just put them aside for a bit?
I think that's about to happen.
Please.
I'm with you. Except in video games, I think superheroes they do a pretty good job in games. Superheroes have interesting mobility, and mobility is
okay.
Good mobility in games always welcome, until it's not.
We can keep them there.
Yeah. So, what did you think about the setup for Miles and his Puerto Rican, Black American kind of heritage, which is cool? And he lives in Brooklyn. He's going to a prep school. His dad is a big dog in the police department, and he hates Spider-Man, or his dad hates Spider-Man, and he just wants to chill and be kind of normal.
Yeah, it's an interesting plot, compared to Peter Parker, because especially the Tom Holland Peter Parker, he seems like he also doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He just kind of wanted to chill with his friends and go to college with them and just have a normal life. So we can, kind of see this here with these two Spider-Mans not wanting to be Spider-Man, but okay, they're going to embrace the responsibility, blah, blah, blah. It's cool that they have this kind of I guess it's cool we have this Spider-Man from a different culture. You know, his dad being a cop and then his mom being a nurse. And then he's going to a prep school because he's smart. So it's a lot of elements, I guess, there that are pretty cool that they can play with.
Yeah. And what shoes was he wearing?
I didn't.
The retro ones that we saw in the movie Air. I told you once you see that movie, you're gonna see those shoes everywhere.
Yeah, I do see them everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Miles' dad was played by Paper Boi.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Not
I
cool?
couldn't even tell. I'd have to go back and listen to him, and then I'm sure I'll hear it. But that's pretty cool.
Just imagine him saying Paper Boi, and it might happen. He's in a great movie that I need to watch. I think it's called Outcast or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name. Brian Tyree Henry. That's his name. What do you think about Spider Lady girl in high school? Where she gets her fucking hair torn out. I would have been so fucking mad.
I know, that was crazy. That was a crazy scene.
Yeah. That's probably top. That's top 5 scenes, I think. Thought that was a good scene.
Yeah. They had to buzz her hair. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have been so mad too. She was cool.
Played by Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty cool. I thought her character was pretty cool.
Did you expect her to be a Spider-Woman?
No. No. I thought this was just the love interest here. You know, like Gwen. So, you know, I thought Spider-Man was going to save her from something, which he kind of did, but I don't know. She was going to save him first. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I thought it was weird at the very beginning where I guess it was the same scene where he ripped her hair out, where she was like, I'm Gwendolyn, Wanda, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, what is there? I mean, why did she do that?
Maybe she didn't want to say her name was Gwen.
Why?
To us, to the audience.
Oh, you think that may be what that was?
I thought so. Because why else?
Yeah.
Would she have to lie about her name?
That was funny. What do you think about Nick Cage being in this movie?
I didn't know Nick Cage was in the movie until after I read the wiki page. It's like Nick Cage voiced, what's his name? Noir Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man Noir. That's cool. I can't believe I didn't recognize his voice.
I didn't want to say anything until now, if you didn't know.
You should have told me.
When we were watching it?
Yeah.
Nah. I was like, my eyes were looking at you. In my peripheral vision, I was.
That's pretty cool that he was in it.
Yeah.
I liked his character.
Apparently he has a deep love for comic books, and his son is named after some villain or something from some comic. I don't fucking know. But he has a deep love for that shit. Kind of like Robin Williams named his daughter Zelda after the character. Isn't that cool?
Oh, okay. That is cool. Yeah, that's funny that I don't know in what episode we talked about Nick Cage and that there were 3 roles he's always wanted to play in. And I don't remember that third one for some reason. And I haven't looked it up since then. But, you know, one of them was Dracula. And he succeeded there in Renfield. And the other one was a superhero. Hello, you're Spider-Man.
Wasn't it Superman?
Huh?
Was it not Superman?
Oh, was it Superman or was it just a superhero?
I'm not sure.
I think it was Superman. I think you're right.
Yeah, which almost happened.
Yeah. Which, I mean, come on. You're Spider-Man. That should get like half a point.
Yeah, I did see that Nick Cage was also a potential cast for Iron Man back in the day.
Oh, I'm so glad that didn't happen.
And then the first pick, this would be funny too. The first pick was apparently Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise didn't think it was very good. He didn't want to be part of that, which is kind of funny because I don't think Tom Cruise I don't think he's in anything that's like above Marvel, except a couple things, but like he's, I feel like he would have been fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think so too. But I think Robert Downey Jr.'s.
That worked out.
Yeah.
That worked out for him. Yeah, because it wouldn't have had the same energy with Tom Cruise.
No, it really wouldn't have.
It would have probably felt a little more Batman-y. I feel like Tom Cruise might give some good Batman energy, but not Robert Downey Jr. and Lady Boy or Lady Man or Playboy, what the fuck they call him, with, money's falling out of his ass and the jets. I don't know. I just can't see Tom Cruise in that with that same energy. It would have been completely different, which may have killed Marvel before it even took off. If Tom Cruise was part of it, who knows?
Maybe.
Could you imagine Nick Cage being in all that?
No, I can't.
I can't do
I
that.
honestly can't.
What do you think of our bad guys?
Our bad guys.
We had a
Kingpin.
lady Doc Ock.
Yeah, she was cool.
I liked her arms.
Yeah.
They're not so mechanical looking. They looked very futuristic and fun, and they were cool.
Like they belonged to her body.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was cool.
Before she put her hair up, she looked like the girl from Harry Potter, didn't she?
Yeah,
With the glasses.
Professor Trelawney, however you say her name.
The lady who
The
reads
divination
the tea.
teacher? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. She did look just like her. And then we have Prowler, his fucking uncle. I did not see that coming.
You didn't see that coming?
Okay, I'll take that back. I was suspicious when, his uncle left. And he's like, oh, his voicemail was like, oh, I'm not going to be here. I'm out of town. And I was like, where the fuck is he?
Yeah. He's got to come back in some way. He was here in the beginning. He can't that's not how movies work.
Right. So I wasn't exactly too sure how he was going to come back. But it was there in the back of my mind that he was going to come back somehow.
Yeah.
But I didn't know he was going to be the Prowler. I didn't know he was going to be the guy who's trying to kill his nephew. But that was cool that he let him go. He took off his mask. He's like, oh shit, I actually like you, and he gets killed. So, damn. I didn't know how to feel about what's his name? Kingpin?
Kingpin, yeah.
I don't know. He was too unproportional for me to get past.
I see. Yeah, he definitely had the most cartoon energy with his proportions.
Mm-hmm.
I like Kingpin a lot. I think he's super cool. He reminds me of the Penguin from Batman.
Yeah.
Except he's actually like powerful and can do shit himself, unlike the Penguin. I liked how big. I don't know if it's normal, but I liked how big the Green Goblin was at the very beginning. I liked that. He was beating up the I guess this universe's Peter Parker, and then Kingpin puts the final pin in him. But I like how big he was. It was cool.
Yeah. I guess I don't remember him.
Real brief.
Yeah, he was real brief. I do like the Peter Parkers though. I like that this universe Peter Parker was like blonde and well loved and all that stuff, and then we have this brown haired Peter Parker who is just
Down
let
on
himself
his luck.
go.
Yeah. I like that too.
He got divorced. He's just trying to get over his life.
He get all his shit taken away. His kids hate him.
He doesn't want to be a mentor. Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
His character was kind of a nice duality between him and our Peter, that Peter's universe, or that universe's Peter, and Miles and the brown-headed Peter Parker, because he was kind of polar opposites with the blonde Peter Parker, but he also had this conflict and this room to grow with Miles, because Miles wanted him to teach him, and that guy was like, nah, and then he slowly kind of loosened up, and he not only taught him, but he kind of gained back some of his confidence. I guess he didn't teach him. Miles kind of had to figure that out on his own, as we kind of find out throughout the movie. Because who can fucking teach you how to be Spider-Man, Yeah. It's just not... it's not like learning, some fucking physics or whatever. You just kind of got to fucking figure it out. But Miles he learns that from the brown-headed Peter Parker, but brown-headed Peter Parker also kind of learns something from Miles, and that he can, that nothing's really the end of the world. And that's kind of a theme here and they make fun of a little bit that it's always the end of the world with everything, which is always it's just making fun of, I guess, superheroes at large. But it's I think it's good to be self-aware a little bit on that level, but not to the degree that the MCU is, because except they're not even aware of it. They just make fun of everything else.
Yeah.
But if, you gotta be a little careful with that. But I think it was handled pretty smart here. What were you gonna say though?
Well, to that, he also taught him that he can be a dad, that he does like kids, and he likes teaching.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He can become a parent, and he can take that back to his universe and get his girl back. So I like that. There's a nice, sweet moment there.
Yeah, that's good character storytelling when you have people learning from people. We don't need any Mary Sues.
Mary Sue's. But I guess one last thing I want to add is I really like the score and soundtrack of this film a lot. I was reading that Post Malone song, Sunflower, was originally going to be a Donald Glover song, Redbone. That's what they were going to have they were going to have Miles, sing and screw up. But that song was already in Get Out. Like, Get Out had just come out, and they put it in that movie, so they didn't want to have it there, too.
That's funny.
So they went with Post Malone song, which I thought that was funny. And now you tell me this stuff about Donald Glover, that's even more interesting. So, I don't know. But, I mean, I like that song a lot. And
I think the whole soundtrack is awesome.
I like the that weird ass noise you heard every time we saw the Prowler.
Yeah, it was a weird sound.
It was the weirdest. It was like almost like a Godzilla sound, just a shortened version of the sound Godzilla makes, and it was so eerie. It was so creepy, and I liked it.
Yeah, had a kind of a horror sound to it.
Yeah. And it was like every time he was on the screen.
Yeah.
So you knew he was coming. You knew his ass was there. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that too. It's kind of funny that the soundtrack was actually as good as it was, because none of it's original. Some of the songs might be originally made for this, but they all pretty much are, just songs created by musical artists. Yeah. They're not original scores or anything. It's not an original score as far as soundscapes and stuff. I guess the soundscape is what's happening, like what you would imagine is happening on screen, not the mood sound. You know what I mean? But they're not. It's not like Banshees where it's just these same 5 fucking notes playing out throughout the whole movie, and there's no music. You know what I mean? There's no lyrics and stuff. Because I think normally movies kind of suck when they have. Or I should say, I think it only normally hurts movies when it's a bunch of poppy songs, popping off whenever and stuff. But these songs went off at super sensible times. These songs were played by some of the characters in the show, in the movie, and they had a sense of belonging, and it really fucking worked.
It fit to the character.
It really does. It really did. And I can't think off the top of my head of another movie that's done it as good as this, as far using songs like that. I can't think of anything.
No, I can't either.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, because most of the time when they use popular songs like that, it's not great.
Yeah, it's usually during big spectacle moments or getaway moments or just epic things that kind of happen on camera. They're not world building, and these fit in the same way that you will see in really great shows. I feel like shows usually handle music a little better like this, which is kind of funny. Like Grey's Anatomy handles music better than handles lyrical music better than almost any fucking movie, and that's Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy might be kind of a baller ass show in its own right. But it's still Grey's Anatomy. It's a network television show. It's cheaply fucking made, but it's smart. It really is smart in a lot of ways, and they'll hit you with that music in Grey's Anatomy. They'll fucking make you cry just off that music.
That's true. If what's that song? I hear it in my head. It's this song that if you hear that song in Grey's Anatomy, something tragic is about to happen. I don't remember what it's called.
Atlanta has a really great soundtrack too.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like playing soundtracks to movies in the car. Driving to work, I'm listening to a soundtrack here or there. And one of my favorite soundtracks to a movie is Shrek 2. Shrek 2 has one of the best soundtracks out there. But it's not part of the story. It's not. Without that soundtrack, we still know who Shrek is. We still have Shrek's character. So
there is a weird thing though about that soundtrack that it does elevate that movie. I don't know what it is. The first one and second one.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible, but Shrek managed to pull that off.
Yeah, in award-winning director Ben Affleck's Air, I was reading on the wiki page that he essentially gave whoever the person was to give the music to, gave them a Spotify playlist and said, "Here, pick out these songs that we want on in the movie, like specific to that time." What is that? The 80s? What?
Yeah, like 84 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So here's a playlist with a bunch of music from the 80s, 85 probably, I don't know, and pick out the ones that will work for the song or for this movie.
It's sickening. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
And then you have David Lynch over here sitting with the guy. I don't know his name. I think he's super Italian, so I don't even fucking know his name. But he sits there with him at the piano trying to figure out how a soundtrack for Twin Peaks or any other of his movies, until something strikes him and fucking makes him get on his knees and cry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, is it Laura's what's her name?
Laura Palmer's theme is
Laura Palmer's theme.
One of the greatest things to ever be recorded.
Go listen to that. But yeah, this had a great soundtrack.
It did. I would have guessed that Post Malone made that song for the movie. I would have guessed that because it's pretty iconic to the movie. Like, I think it even, like, when it's on the radio, I think it says, when it has the rolling title, it says featured in Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse or something like that, or from. I swear it did.
I mean, maybe I phrased that wrong. Maybe the song was written for the movie after the other one didn't.
Okay.
They couldn't use the other one.
Did they use any other Childish Gambino stuff? I'm not sure.
I want to say they do.
Yeah. That would make sense. That's a slick homage to the origins of Miles. Oh, I guess it's also worth. Oh, excuse me. I just remembered where Donald Glover plays Aaron Davis. That's in, I think, the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie where he's buying guns under a bridge. Remember Donald Glover was in that film?
No.
And he's buying guns from the Falcon's henchmen or something.
Yeah, I don't.
He's not the Prowler, I don't think.
I don't remember that.
He's just Aaron Davis.
Okay.
No Miles. Although Miles, I assume is gonna be in one of these next Spider-Man movies, and I think they're gonna do a multiverse thing, but in that, I think the Miles that they bring into the MCU is going to be older than Peter.
Okay.
I think they're gonna go down that route because you can't have someone younger than Tom Holland. He's literally gonna have to be 10 years old. Tom Holland looks like he's, 16. So that's how old Miles is,
I mean, that's true, but, Miles is what? African American, Puerto Rican, so.
They could have two young looking people?
They could have two young looking people. I mean,
yeah. But it would be cool to have the older Miles.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. That'd be cool too. I mean, really anything that they do here and they do it well would be cool.
Yeah, I think the Spider-Mans are going to continue to be decent. They seem to have some kind of creative chops over there.
Yeah.
Still in the Spider-Man world. Minus Zendaya. She's kind of lame.
Yeah. Well, that's good, though. I mean, Spider-Man, luckily, all the Spider-Mans are pretty good.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
They continue to be, decent. It's kind of surprising.
I know, just getting better. I mean, I think Andrew
Yeah, sure.
Garfield is better than Toby Maguire.
Oh shit!
And
I
then
never
I
heard
think
anyone
Tom
say
Holland is
that. I never
better
heard
than...
anyone say that.
Really?
I have a soft spot for Andrew Garfield. I love his Spider-Man. I don't think his movies are very good, but I think his Spider-Man is definitely the best Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you have Toby Maguire down the totem pole, then you have Andrew Garfield, then you have Tom Holland, and
That's
now
good.
you have Miles.
That's good.
So I don't know. I'm partial to Tom Holland Spider-Man though.
He's a good Spider-Man.
So
He's got a lot of good energy and stuff. Yeah, the Spider-Man, the Peter Parker Spider-Man in the game, not interesting at all. But the Miles character, very cool characters in the game. And the Peter Parker in the game is very stoic and, well, I'm not really stoic, but very generic kind of good guy. And I don't know, I don't really know, but he kind of feels like he's pulling at the cartoons or something. The Spider-Man cartoons, he's supposed to kind of fit into that. And he's okay. But the Miles character is very cool. He's a lot like this character.
okay.
They're pretty much the same. And except in the game, he's in the tech much more, and I assume that's going to happen in the next
movie.
The next Miles movie. Because he's still young. He's just figuring out his Spider-Man powers in this one, which is cool. I like that we almost spend the entire movie him not being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. How do you feel about... I was going to say, I think in the next Spider-Man game, I think Peter's going to die, and then Miles is going to finish out the trilogy. I think that's going to happen, which I think is cool as shit. If that's how they do it. The first game is just Peter Parker. You have DLC where you play as... Or you have a side game where you play as Miles. The next game you play as Miles and Peter Parker. And then the last game you play just as Miles. I think that'd be so cool in a game. Because it's ambitious, right? It's going to take how long to make these games? All three of them after everything's said and done? Maybe 10, 12 years. So it's, that's a lot of... That's... Got to have some vision there and some commitment, right? But I was going to say... Oh, yeah. What do you think about him not having the web in his hand? It's the suit. It's the gadgets. I think Andrew Garfield had the same thing going on. Does Tom Holland have it coming out of his palm, coming out of his wrist, or does he have the gadget?
I think he has a gadget too.
But I know Andrew, what the fuck? I know Toby Maguire did not. He had it coming out of his palms, out of his hands, out of his wrist, what the fuck ever. How do you feel about that? Do you like the gadget?
I don't like the gadget.
But it seems like that's kind of the normal way, right?
But I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I wish they would make it come out of his freaking wrist. I mean, if we want techie stuff, we already have Iron Man. Iron Man's created everything, okay? I want a spider bit him, so now now it's in him. He's shooting out web through his freaking wrists. That's what I want. So it's not surprising that they did it here because we've seen it, okay? But come on.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I thought he was gonna be using the thing, and then he was gonna find out that he doesn't need the thing, and that's like why he wasn't able to get it at first, or something like that. I thought that might be what happens, but it's not.
Yeah, I do like that he can turn invisible though. That's cool.
That is cool. It's very cool.
I'm glad he figured it out because it seemed like the only way he could turn invisible was to kind of panic and be scared. I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool to turn invisible when you're panicked and scared, and you can kind of panic and be scared on command to turn on. Like, that'd be kind of cool. So, but no, he figured it out. So,
all right, man. Any final thoughts? All right, this is this new thing we're gonna start where you're gonna guess the budget of the production. All right, not always gonna be available, but how much do you think this movie cost to make?
Okay.
Based off of your knowledge of films thus far.
See, since it's animated, something tells me it's a lower number. That's just me, because you don't have to pay big time actors, I guess. You're paying the voice does your voice cost less? I don't know.
I would expect it to be honest.
Yeah, I have no idea here, but I think I'm gonna go with $25.
$25.
$25.
25 million?
Yeah, 25 million.
This movie made 384 million.
Holy shit, they made a shit ton of money.
So that is a lot of money. It's a lot of money for an animated film. It really is. But this movie had a production budget of 90 million.
90 million?
Yep.
For what? Who are they paying?
The 140 animators that spent 4 years making this film.
4 years?
Like longer than that, really.
Holy crap. Yeah, I have no idea about what goes into that. It just seems easier. You don't have to edit mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you got to create every fucking thing. There's everything. There's nothing captured, you know? Yeah, this movie.
Yeah. 90's still not, well, I don't know. I don't know numbers. I don't know how to think in terms of this.
Yeah, animated stuff's, it is tough to, it's kind of crazy that an animated movie would cost that much when your high end video games cost that much, and there's just much more that goes into the game than there is an animated film. Because like you said, you would expect the talent to not cost that much, but from what I can tell, from what I've learned in my film classes and whatnot, his talent is often not part of the production cost. So
excuse me?
Yeah, it's a different cost.
Well, that'd be helpful to know in my future guesses.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm over here thinking, you know what? Maybe Nick Cage asked for 15 alone.
He probably did.
Is that a lot? I have no idea.
For Nick Cage, that didn't sound that bad. That sounds probably about right. 15 million?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have no idea.
For his voice, I don't know.
All right, well, that's cool.
Yeah, well, thank you for watching this film with me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for watching it with me.
I can't wait for the second one.
Me too.
You excited?
I'm excited.
I feel like because they kind of set the mood for the animation, they have to deliver on quite an interesting story. They need to bring the big guns out when it comes to the story.
Yep.
Because editing and animation, can you even say editing when it comes to animation? Is it just not animation in general? You know what I mean? Kind of is, isn't it? Because like you were just saying that it's every little thing is curated to the very particular thing. You know,
exactly.
You're not working with what you got. You're creating what you got.
I mean, I guess maybe at the end you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we didn't like this, how this was made. Let's edit that. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's good, yeah. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmistines. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmistines, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmistines signing off.
Ooh.